Hey, we're back again. Amy stuck around, didn't you, Amy? And we're doing another video.
I did, Karen, yes.
Yeah, Amy stuck around. Amy, what it was is I had a comment in the messages. I can't remember which animal they said they thought it looked like, but I didn't see an animal. I just see buildings and little islands. And what year did they say they built this?
It said 5th century AD they built it.
Yeah, because they would be much better than we would today.
Exactly.
They obviously were. There's different islands in here, so I've taken different photographs, but this first picture, I do see that maybe this bit originally was there, or could have been, but isn't now. But they've built on there, they've built on all the little islands, but it looks like some of the land could have been there, but it doesn't look like an animal to me. But anyway, I'm going to put the pictures on now, and I might stop at one or two of them, but I don't know. I think that bits of it have gone, but
Yeah.
to start building in the 5th century, for goodness sake. There you go, there's a good picture there to show you of what looks like this is all would have been land that's under the sea, and all these other islands and that round it, but I didn't see a real shape to it.
Yeah.
Can't remember what they said animal they said it was. If anybody can see an animal when you see some of these pictures, then do write it in the chat room, in the messages. But I don't think it's sinking, do you?
No, I don't.
So that's just to show that there's other islands here. See, built on there, built on here, built on here. I think that one there is a cemetery. Then it's Bruno Island. Anyway, yeah. So that bit, and then obviously that's all something. Got beaches on that one.
Wow.
How could they have built all this in the 5th century, Amy?
I know, I don't understand it. How they
Our life is just getting more and more ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah, so obviously that's where it meets round there, but this is in between. But I didn't see an animal.
Well, I did Google about Venice, what looks like an animal or whatever, and it said that Venice looks like a fish with a head and a tail. There's quite a few posts when you Googled it. I just Googled it just now.
Okay, then we're going to stop a moment and have a look at it. Maybe the person said fish. I can't remember, but that's what it's supposed to look like. There you go. But well, it doesn't really look like a fish, does it? But I suppose you could say it does. Yeah. We'll say for the people, the person, I mean for them it's a fish, but I don't think so. There's another picture I want to look at, so hang on a moment. That's an old picture of it there saying that it looks like a fish. Maybe it did then?
Yeah, I guess depending how you look at it or something, it could look like a fish.
Yeah. A fish coming to get you.
Yes.
Stay away from Venice. We're a fish and we're going to eat you.
Yes.
Right, 1 second, Amy. I'm going to look at another picture. Well, I suppose this picture here could look a bit like a fish, and that's its tail at the back. But I don't know. But anyway, I'm just amazed that they actually were building it in the 5th century. For goodness, they built it then. Like, we need to wake up and realise there's something extremely wrong. Oh, these are a couple of islands off of Venice, and that's a cemetery. Which is there, it is there. The main. And these are the islands, and this one got a few buttons, but I see, maybe it looks like a, but I don't.
Yeah.
I think that's that island there. There's the cemetery there. But it does look like there was ground that was higher, which is underneath the water. I mean, like it's like bits you can see in a lot of the pictures.
Yeah.
Still amazing that they did it, isn't it? Ah, here's come in. Of course, it's known as.
Yes, I never have been there. I wish I could go. It's lovely.
There's some islands there. More
Romantical.
islands. Yeah, it's stinky there though sometimes.
Yeah.
Don't know what that is, but there's something here we covered up with. This one looks like it could be, maybe it was a bit like a. Anyway, it does flood. So I put a few pictures in of it flooding. I mean, I wouldn't want that going past me. In Italy. Anyway, so now we're going to stop this bit here for a minute, because this says, the canals of Venice are amongst the world's most romantic places. Smelly romantic. But before the atmospheric waterways we know and love today came into existence, before the grandeur of the city's opulent plazas and pizzeras, and there was only a mushy, muddy lagoon with little going for it except the smattering of 124 small islands. Wow. That's quite amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
There's 124 islands there. Wow.
Wow, I know.
There's a bit more here now I'm going to look at. Long ago, the buildings were built by using wooden piles about 60 foot long, driven deep into the ground. These piles go deep into the soil, reaching past the weak silt to a dirt to a portion of the ground that was hard clay, which could hold the weight of the buildings placed on piles above. We don't know if we can ever believe anything they ever say then, if it was built in the 5th century. They obviously knew then.
Right.
Obviously the question's in there, does Venice smell? Venice is known for its stinking canals in the summer and can be overwhelming with its beauty, and both are man-made. Yeah, anyway, just looking through some of the questions, but I think I'll pick a couple of more out. So it says, in the last 1,000 years, Venice has sunk 7 centimetres, 2.75 inches. Years ago, researchers noticed that pumping underwater from underground the city was causing Venice to sink at a faster rate. I wonder where that was. Anyway, officials stopped the underground pumping, but 118 islands that are in Venice Lagoon are still sinking. Really?
Wow.
We just don't know what to believe, because you found a different figure, didn't you?
Yeah. I can't. It was. But it said it was sinking at an alarming rate. I can't find where I read that. But yeah, it said at an alarming rate, so many milliliters per year or something like that. It didn't sound like much to me, but they called it an alarming rate.
It says in this one that the islands were built 402 AD and they were faced with the need for more space. Really? Well, how many people did they have then? And a stronger foundation to live on. They had to find ways to strengthen the islands, drain them, enlarge them, and protect the fragile environment. So they dug hundreds of canals and shored up the banks with wood pilings. They also used similar wood pilings as foundations for the buildings. The settlers pounded thousands of wooden piles into the mud, so close together that they were touching. Then they cut off the top and created solid platforms for the foundations of their homes. Because the wood was underwater, it didn't rot. It's hard to believe, but there are many buildings in Venice today that are still standing on 1,000-year-old piles of wood. Wow. I think it's a bit more than 1,000 years, isn't it? It's like 1,500 years.
Yeah.
But that's if that's true. Remember, we've only realised that Tartaria finished only 80 years ago, so we don't know if any of this is true. It's just what they're saying.
That's right. Well, I found the thing. It said that Venice is sinking at the alarming rate of 1 milliliter per year. Not only is it sinking, but it is also tilting to the east and battling against flooding and rising sea levels. Venice is in northeast Italy and was built on top of sediments from the Po River. That's an article dated March 2nd of 2020.
It says, today, some people say Venice should be called the sinking city rather than the floating city. But Venice began sinking the moment it was built. Really? Well, it's been there for 1,500 years. From the beginning, the weight of the city pushed down on the dirt and mud that it was built on, squeezing out water and compacting the soil. The phenomenon, together with the natural movement of high tides called, whatever they're called, caused periodic flooding in the city, creating a sinking sensation. Over the last 100 years, the city has sunk 9 inches. Some experts warn that global... Oh, I'm not reading the rest. That's not true. Anyway, I'm just going to move on a bit, Amy, because I think I might have picked up a bit more information. And anyway, people can stop and read that again if they want. I don't believe it's sinking like they say then.
I don't either.
Been there for 1,500 years.
Right.
And that's if that's true.
That's right.
I'm not sure if we've got any more information. I'm not sure. We're coming to the end of the video now. Anyway, it's a fish. I'm not sure what she said now. I had it down as a bird or something. Anyway, there's a good picture of the islands, right? And this map was made in 1764. So there's Venice there. And then obviously this is shading here. But look, there's all marshlands and stuff. But here, now the houses are built out to... They've actually taken this back and built houses on them. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Hang on. Mappa de Laguna de Venezia. I'm Italian. I've been there. Yeah, I've been there, I think, when I was younger.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the end of the pictures now. But what does everybody think that this was built 1,500 years ago? So, well, I suppose if you have to take off 1,000 years, don't you? So it was built 600 years ago, 500 years ago.
Yes.
It'd probably make more sense then, wouldn't it? But they still had the capacity to do it and make it. It's amazing.
That's right.
Anyway, that's our little look at Venice. Thank you very much, reader, for making me go and have a look.
Yes.
In this picture, though, it doesn't really look like a fish. So that would mean that maybe a bit more of it had become out of the sea since then, because it doesn't look like the shape of a fish in this. But anyway, thank you very much for your time, Amy. Anyway, bye from us.
Bye-bye.
Me and Amy had finished, but I decided to put a little bit more on here. Well, I wanted to say that if this was built as long ago as they say it was, and it's sinking, why don't we see buildings in the water then? I mean, if this thing has been, I mean, whichever way you want to look at it, 1,500 years or 600 years, there's still no buildings in the water. You know, there's not buildings here in the water or anywhere. So I don't know if it's sinking. What do you reckon, Amy? Oh, hang on a second. What do you think, Amy?
Yeah, I don't think it's sinking either. I don't think Venice is sinking either. I just think might be part of that plan they like to talk about, climate, that's affecting the climate, and I just don't think that's the case. I think, I just don't believe it.
1 second, Amy, 1 second. If you do look at this map, all this now has been built on, right? If they needed more room for the people, so that's been built on. But look at the shape of Venice there. It doesn't look like a fish there, does it? And this was 1764. So I reckon more land has come out of the water because they built on it. They've made,
right.
this is like a fish now.
Yes, that makes sense. That's a brilliant point. Yes.
I don't know. But anyway, they've built on all this here. and there's more of it. But anyway, that's what we thought, wasn't it, Amy? We just thought we'd add that bit.
Yes, that's right, Karen. Yeah, because we don't believe that it is sinking the way they're saying that it is.
We can't prove anything, but we just it just looks like that when you see that picture of 1764. But anyway, we're finished. We're just adding this bit in, aren't we?
Yes, Karen.